This lesson, we move on to a vital topic, logic. This logic is the basis of what makes a game. Interactivity, as you just saw. Honestly, this is the most important part of Python games. Let's get on with this. Logic in Python assumes the form of the if statement. If statements basically go like this. If some condition is met, do this thing. Before we can go into more detail next lesson, you need to know the complicated Python jumble that is logic. This condition thing requires you to know about one more data type in Python. Booleans. Named after George Boole, these can be one of two things. True or false, just like in condition. It's either raining or it's not. Although if statements don't involve actually making a Boolean, it's useful to know. So here, make a variable. Then you write in whether it's true or false. The thing is, so Python knows it's a Boolean and not just some variable name, it needs to have a capital letter. Both of them. You'll also notice that the word turns bold green when you type it. This is what Jupyter Notebook does when it finds a special Python word, like the words for true and false Booleans. It does these for some other words too, which I'll show you later. Okay, you've made a Boolean. Now let me show you how to build a condition. These are questions like, is it raining? Which give you a Boolean in return. Let's make a simple condition which checks whether a player is dead in a battle royale game. First, you'll need a variable, HP, which is set to 25. Here comes the good bit. So, this condition needs to check whether a player's HP is at 0. In a condition, there are special symbols called comparison operators, which ask whether something is equal, greater than, lesser than, or not equal to another thing. In this case, the special symbol for whether HP is 0 is a double equals. So, HP equals 0. Run it and you'll get false. The player isn't dead yet, since they still have 25 HP. Now quickly go back and change the variable HP to be 0. Run it, then run the cell with the condition, and you'll see true. Everything is working all well and good. But we need to consider something. Something that I like to call an unexpected eventuality. This means a situation that doesn't always happen, but we need to include in our code in foresight, or our game will glitch out. In this case, I have one of these eventualities. Imagine if a player had 15 HP. Then he got hit with an attack which did 20 HP of damage. Technically, he's not at 0 HP. He's at -5. We need to alter our condition to include the bits when the player's HP is actually under 0. To do this, you can use the lesser than symbol. A crocodile eating the bigger number or whatever. Now we try it with -5 HP. Let's see if it works. And it does! Unfortunately, I bring bad news. Try setting the HP back to 0 and see what happens when you run the command. Your player isn't dead according to this, because mathematically 0 isn't less than 0. We can solve this, however, using another symbol, the lesser than or equals sign, which is made up of a lesser than sign followed by a single equals. Check it. It totally works. Here's a list of most of the symbols. Equal to, double equals, greater than, lesser than, greater than or equal to, greater than plus 1 equals, lesser than or equal to, lesser than plus 1 equals, not equal to, exclamation mark plus 1 equals. At first, this seemed pretty confusing to me, especially the last three. But a small rule that, in my opinion, helps me to remember them is that anything that sort of derives from the equal to symbol has its own sign, then 1 equals, as if it was just the equals to symbol with 1 equals knocked off. Like, for greater than or equal to, it's the greater than symbol, and for not equal to is an exclamation mark. There are, however, a few more operators, but the list is too big and at the moment unnecessary. I'll sprinkle them in during later lessons. Okay, are you still following me? That must have been a lot of stuff to take in. Which is why I have a massive Conda quiz to top it all off. But we're not done here. I have one hefty topic left. Logic gates, or operators as they're called in Python. These things can join two conditions together. Here's how they work. Operators are used to compare two booleans together. There's and, or, and not. And will return true only if both statements are correct. I use this one mostly to check whether something is between this number and this number. Basically, if it's bigger than this and smaller than that. Or, on a different note, returns true if either of them is true. So one can be true, or both of them can be. This one is basically when you want to do the same thing for two different eventualities. Like, if it's raining or hailing, I'll take an umbrella both times. Not is used, well, you probably guessed it. You can say not HP equals 0, and it'll return true if HP is not 0. Before we wrap up today's massive lesson, we have to make at least one condition using an operator to show you how it's done. For this example, I want to use the whether something is between two numbers situation I mentioned earlier on. It's pretty simple, or not. Let's say we wanted to make one of those football games, where the strength of the kick has to be just right. Too little and it doesn't go far enough. Too much and it flies off course. Let's create a variable called kick power, and imagine the player managed to kick the ball 46 units out of 100. 1 means the ball barely moves, and 100 means it zooms away. So a perfect score would be between 40 and 60. So, kick power is greater than 40, and kick power is lesser than 60. True, our player scored a perfect hit. Phew, that was an amazing learning spree. I really hope you get this, since it's really important. See ya!